everyone, my name is Sabrina Loudon. Welcome to my channel, Sabrina the City Girl Doll. Today is Sunday, so I am going to read you Sunday's Bible story. The story that I'm going to read today is about a man named Abraham. Abraham was a very, very rich man, and he was also a good man, and he trusted God and believed in God and lived the way God wanted him to live. One day, God told Abraham to leave his home and move to another country. Well, it's really hard to move when you're really familiar with where you live and all your friends are there. It's hard to move. But God said, "Trust me, Abraham, I am going to make you the father of a great nation." So even though Abraham didn't want to leave his comfortable home, he trusted God. So he and his wife Sarah packed up everything that they owned, including their servants, their animals, and they even took his nephew Lot with them. They had to travel many years, a very, very long time, until they reached a land called Canaan, which is where God wanted them to go. But there was a problem, because Abraham had servants and animals, and his nephew Lot also had servants and animals. There just wasn't enough food and water for all of them if they stayed together. So Abraham told Lot to choose which way he wanted to settle. On one side were the dry hills, and on the other side was a very lush valley and the Jordan River. "I will live there," Lot said, being so selfish. And he took his servants and all his belongings and all his animals, and he went to live there. Now, once Lot was gone, God told Abraham that one day all of the land will be his forever, both the lush side and the dry side, and that he would have many family members, generations after generations, like great grandkids. And he said that he was going to make him the father of a great nation, and also that he would have a son of his own. The fact that he was going to have a son was a miracle from God, because Abraham and Sarah were old, and they were really too old to have children. But God said, "Don't worry." And Abraham knew that God always kept his promises, so he believed God when God told him that he would become the father of a great nation. After a few years had passed, when they were living in this new land, Abraham saw 3 strangers coming towards him as he was opening up his tent. He welcomed them into his tent, said, "Come on in, take a rest, and share our meal." So these 3 strangers sat down in the shade. Abraham went to fetch some water for them and asked Sarah to prepare some food for them. The men said, "Thank you. Now, let us tell you something. In 9 months, your wife will have a baby son." Sarah overheard this from where she sat in the tent, and she laughed very loud. She says, "I'm far too old to have a child," she thought. Hearing her, one of the visitors asked why she laughed. He said, "There's nothing too hard for the Lord." Then Abraham knew that these men were no ordinary guests. The words that they spoke came from God, meaning they were messengers of God. Even though Abraham and Sarah knew that God had promised them a child, they did find it hard to believe that this could happen, being that they were so old. But sure enough, 9 months went by and God's promise came true, and Sarah gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. They were so happy because they had longed for a child for so many years. Abraham said, "We shall call him Isaac," which means he laughs. It'll remind us of the happiness we feel. So every day, Abraham and Sarah watched Isaac grow, and he crawled around the tent, laughing and playing like little kids do. His mother said very proudly, "One day he will become a fine young man." Abraham remembered what God had told him many years before, that his children would form the beginnings of a great nation. And since the birth of Isaac, he knew that this was going to come true. I just love this story. It is such a beautiful, beautiful story. And it really shows how we should trust in God. Even when we think the things He tells us aren't possible, they can still happen. God can perform miracles. You know, God made us. He made us humans. He made a man and He made a woman. So He knows how to make things work. And in Abraham and Sarah's case, He did just that. I think this is a wonderful story, and I hope that you learn from it. One, to really, really trust God when He tells us something. Like Abraham trusted God when God told him to move his family and all his belongings to a new land. He trusted Him even though it took him many years to get there. He trusted God when God told him that he would become a great nation. And he believed God when God promised him that they would have a baby with his wife Sarah. Although they found it hard to believe, they still believed, and it happened. The miracle came true. I hope you enjoyed today's Bible story, and I know I really enjoyed it. It's taught me to trust in God no matter what. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of the weekend. Please subscribe to my channel, and please like this video and share it with your friends. Bye-bye.